Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, we are from group 2. Today we are going to present our material today about domestic and foreign tourist cooperation. Before we start our presentation today, let me introduce ourselves. My name is Indah Fitriningrum, you can call me Indah, and my partner name is Atika Barudin Syafi'i, you can call him Dika. Okay, the first slide is about domestic tourism cooperation. Domestic tourist is travel within your own nation. Maksudnya yaitu melakukan perjalanan di dalam negara kalian sendiri. Semisal, jika saya yang berasal dari Jombang memutuskan untuk menghabiskan waktu saya di Yogyakarta yaitu ke Malioboro, itu dimaksud pariwisata domestik. Kenapa? Karena saya masih berada di negara tempat tinggal saya. Okay, the next is about international tourism. International tourism is what it say on the CAM, the World Tourism Organization or WTO, defines tourism as traveling to and staying in places outside their usual environment for not more than one consecutive year for leisure, business, and another purpose. Intinya, kegiatan ini dilakukan tidak di negara kalian sendiri, seperti kalian berasal dari Indonesia. Melakukan perjalanan ke Indonesia, itu bukan. Tapi, jika kalian berasal dari Indonesia dan melakukan perjalanan ke Singapura, itu dimaksud international tourism. Okay, the next is about benefit of domestic tourism. The first is cost-effective option for individualism. Liburan dengan hemat biaya. Dan yang kedua yaitu making residents aware of the history and culture of their country. Liburan ini juga mempunyai manfaat yaitu agar kita sadar akan sejarah budaya tentang negara kita. And the last is this type of tourism is likely to be less of a hassle for visitors. Kenapa tidak merepotkan pengunjung? Karena kita mengunjungi bagian dari negara kita sendiri. Tidak harus belajar bahasa lain, tidak perlu mengganti mata uang, dan cita rasa makanan pun sama dengan lidah kita.
Okay, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Adika Bardin Shafi and I will continue the presentation today. The characteristics of domestic tourism. In contrast to international tourists, domestic tourists know the destination, its language, its customs, its laws, its climate, its cultural context. This has at least two consequences. As a general rule, domestic tourists are more demanding, especially when it comes to the quality of products and also with regard to their consumer protection rights. Out of the four main motivation of tourist discovery, encountering others, experiencing something unique, resting, the last two are certainly more prominent among domestic tourists. And then they seek a very wide diversity of types of destination and tourism activities. In other words, the range of product offerings should be as broad as possible. And then at the time, domestic tourism is practiced more in sedentary, staying in the same place, than a nomadic manner, the latter being more suited for more distant destinations. And then number two, domestic destinations are near. Visits are more frequent and there are more repeat stays. Notability with family and especially in the rural region of provenance of many urban residents. Land transport is predominantly used 88% compared to 51% for international tourism. And then number three, as the destination is nearer and land transport is used more, the cost of trips is lower. The given that the barrier as presented by trip cost is broken down, domestic travelers seek the best price-quality ratio, or often the lowest possible price, in all segments of the tourism value chain: accommodation, food service, tourism activities, shopping, etc. And then they therefore seek alternative non-hotel accommodations because, among other things, they are going to return several times to the destination, and while there, they prepare subsequent stays by informing themselves about the local accommodation, offering, last but not least, importantly, they stay for a longer period. Picano et al. Suggest three reasons why analysts have focused on international tourism rather than domestic tourism. Number one, foreign holidays capture the imagination. Number two, international tourism brings foreign currency and foreign income to the destination country. Number three, international tourists are readily counted as they pass through transport and customs bottlenecks. Jadi wisatawan internasional itu bisa membawa devisa dan pendapatan asing ke negara tujuannya. Serta turis internasional juga dihitung dengan mudah saat mereka melewati hambatan transportasi dan bea cukai. According to Rogerson and Zoleka, the lack of research is: number one, partly a result of the emphasis accorded by national governments and policy makers to the foreign exchange earnings derived from international tourism flows. And then number two, domestic tourism is more difficult to track than international tourism, as it occurs within the country of residence and thus does not involve the crossing of international borders at entry points into a country where visitors are counted. Jadi sebagian merupakan hasil dari penekanan yang diberikan oleh pemerintah nasional dan membuat kebijakan pada pendapatan devisa yang diperoleh dari arus wisatawan internasional. Wisatawan domestik lebih sulit dilacak daripada wisatawan internasional karena terjadi di dalam negara tempat tinggal dan dengan demikian tidak melibatkan penyeberangan perbatasan internasional di titik masuk ke negara di mana pengunjung dihitung. Icono et al. Presented an extended version of the Hamburg tourism model, including substitution between domestic and international tourism. In another study, the impact of climate change on domestic and international tourism. According to their findings, number one, climate change will shift patterns of tourism towards higher altitudes and latitudes. Number two, domestic tourism may double in colder countries and fall by 20% in warmer countries, relative to the baseline without climate change. Number three, for some countries, international tourism may treble, whereas for others, it may cut in half. And then number four, international tourism is more important than is domestic tourism in colder places. International tourism is less important than is domestic tourism in warmer places. And then number five, however, in most places, the impact of climate change is small compared to the impact of population and economic growth. Number six, climate change has a greater impact on tourism than sea level rise does, because the latter heavily affects only a few places.
Thank you for your attention, guys, and I hope that you will understand about this material. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.